Hello, this is Manuela, your guiding light, and this YouTube video is the Doomsday or New Earth. We notice that people are almost like dividing between believing that the Doomsday is coming or we entering in New Earth. Even that the truth is, it's never the future. It's never 100% decided. It really depends on how we evolving and what are we giving attention to. So we've been divided from the early days since we started incarnating. The truth is, we've been divided. We come here to learn and to grow and to evolve. And the purpose of soul is to bring more light into the earth. God's plan is to bring heaven to earth. And this was the agreement between God and ego. In an old way, the devil. I don't like that word, it's quite strong, so I used a little bit softer word for it, and I call it the ego. The truth is, God made an agreement with the ego. The earth belongs to the ego. It was a pure darkness. There was nothing on it. Absolutely nothing but darkness. So God made agreement with the ego that he's going to bring the light and create a better place. That's going to bring the light to earth and create a better place, create a better planet. The devil or the ego agreed on it, and they also created agreement, which was the law of karma, that every soul, as they're learning, will be punished if it does wrong. So it's punished by the ego. God doesn't punish. God gave us the free will. God gave to every soul the free will to either follow the God's plan or the ego plan, to be on the God side, on the devil's side, on the ego side. So that is the free will that we have. We always have choices to make, and whenever we make choice, we either make choice by God, by following our soul, staying connected to God, or we make choice by the ego, by following the ego plan, which is our mind. So this is the choice we have. God gave us the free will to do whatever we want to do. God will not twist our hand and say, you know what, you gotta follow my plan. We have a free will. That's what God gave us when we incarnated on earth. And also this agreement, the law of karma, we all agreed on it. So God does not punish you. Many people believe that God punishes. No, God doesn't punish, but God entered in agreement with the ego, because remember, we are living on ego's land, ego's planet, so we have to follow its rules. And because we are created by God, we have to follow God's rules as well. So we have a choice here what to do. Unfortunately, when we come down to earth, we forget everything. We don't have the memory of soul purpose. We don't have the memory of anything, any agreements, any laws that are created, any agreements that we as a soul, we agreed on following all these rules, all the plans, all the laws, all spiritual laws. We agreed on that. And unfortunately, when we come down to we forget. When we incarnate, we forget all that, because we are introduced to ego. As soon as we are born, we are introduced to ego. And sometimes it depends what is our environment. If more people that where we born in, the family, the friends, the community is more driven by ego and following the ego, it's more likely that we will as well. If we are born into family where they are really connected with the spiritual, when they understand the spiritual truth, we're gonna more follow that. And even then, we will have a test, because the ego job is to test us. Ego doesn't have that. I can find the right word for this, but ego will you manipulate and twist your hand to stay on his side? God will not do it, but the ego will do it. Ego, it has the traits of manipulation. God traits love, compassion, forgiveness. Ego traits manipulation, lies, deceiveness. So ego will do that. And God allows him to do it, to test us, to test this free will, to test how strong are we really following the God, how much are we really connected. So even if you are born really spiritual and you follow the spirituality all your life and you believe in God, you will always have people that's going to try to take you off your path, to test you. And unfortunately, some people fail the test. They do jump on ego's plane because of the money, the success, the competition, the money, the success. That's what bring most of people on ego path. So going back to that, we were divided from beginning. From the day we started from the first time we started coming to earth, we've been divided. We've been divided by people while we're on earth, by telling us, what it's right and wrong to do. This is something that it's the most important, and that always was. How to do the right thing. To stay on God's path is to do the right thing. So there are people that will always try to do the right thing, and there are people that just don't care about that. So we are divided from the day one as we come to earth, here on earth. But the most, we are divided as we die, as a soul. Because not every soul goes to heaven. After we die, our soul comes to the light, goes to the light and comes to the gates of heaven, and not everybody passed through those gates. If you've been following an ego plan for too long and you done too much wrong, you created bad karmic debts. So we agreed on the law of karma, and whenever when we do something bad to somebody, even thinking about it, even negative thoughts to somebody, we creating bad karmic debts. So these are the debts, the karmic debts, energetic debts that we create. And if we have too many of bad karmic debts, when we come to the gates of heaven, we cannot enter. So which means we were already divided. The souls that created too many bad karmic debts have to stay on a lower level. And some people call that hell. The truth is, it's not exactly hell. It's sort of in between, where they work on fixing their karma. But they are basically still with ego. So I believe that even the hell has many different levels, because there's many different bad things we can do, many different bad karmic debts that we can do. There are the small ones, when you just lie, when you cheat, and there are the big ones, when you destroy somebody's life, when you kill somebody, or when you kill more people than one, you created war, those sort of things. So there's different levels of bad things that we can do, and there's a different level of hell as well. And then we have this, I believe that the real hell, it's where the soul is completely trapped and it stays in completely darkness. It doesn't see anything. And these are the people that kill, that has no compassion for anybody else, that can kill easy, that don't care about killing somebody. Even when they kill somebody, they actually feel that it's good. It makes them feel good. So these are the souls that completely light, it's shuttered. They have no light in them. That's the soul, it's complete darkness. So they stay in the lowest level of the heaven, which is sort of really low, not really under the earth, but really low on earth, in complete darkness. So there's no light at all, because they have no light in them. How much light we keep during our lifetime, that defines as well if we're going to heaven or to hell, or we're staying here with ego, with devil. So the more light we have, we can cross to heaven, to the gates. If you don't have any light, if the light is squashed, and sometimes it can be squashed by just living a traumatic life, experiencing too much trauma, then you're staying on a lower level. So those people that experienced just struggled or experienced a lot of trauma and carried a lot of resentment and just had negative thoughts towards somebody, but didn't actually really destroy somebody's life or didn't kill anybody, they would stay on a higher level of health. That's the only way I can describe it. So it's right after the guides, the first level sort of on the bottom of the heaven. So they working on fixing their karmic debts, which means every soul that stays in heaven, God gave us choice to stay there, to pay the karmic debts, to serve the time, basically. God is always in charge of our karmic debts. Even that we sign a contract with the devil while we're here to punish us, he's the only one that's punishing. He's bringing the floods, he's bringing the destructions, because we agreed with God on that agreement. That soon as we do something wrong, the devil has right to punish us. That is the agreement that we have. So God doesn't. God forgives us. And really, because we are here to learn, when we are really free from karmic debts, it's when we learn. So because the God signed a soul contract with ego, that we are just here to learn. And whenever we do wrong thing, for as long as we're doing wrong thing, we are basically punished by the devil. But soon as we learn and we decide to do the right thing, we don't do that wrong thing anymore, then we belong to God. God can step in and say, well, you are free from all your karmic debts. Even if you've done so much, soon as you start making changes and you're not doing those wrong things anymore, and you're trying really hard to do the right thing, you are stepping on a God plan, and God is in charge of your karmic debts. If you really make the change, God can wipe them all off for you and free you from all your karmic debts. And so after the souls that didn't pass through the guides and didn't go through the light, they are really just lost and trying to find a way, working with ego to clear their karmic debts, but really they don't really know how to do that. So basically they are supposed to, anybody that they done wrong, to do something good, but they don't know how to do that because they can't see if their action is going to bring good to that person. They're still using their mind, and they're still in a way manipulating, and they can manipulate it because they are with ego. So this is not 100% that it's going to work. But what happens, the longer they stay in there, and if they're not doing really, not creating more bad things and more bad karmic debts, they can always incarnate. God gives them chance to incarnate again. So this is where God is forgiven. Even that they choose to stay on an ego path, God gives them choice to incarnate again. Angels and the spiritual team that God put for everybody, for every soul, it's always with them. They're always there to help you. Even if the soul is gone in hell, the spiritual team, the angels are still there waiting to help you, and they're going to find a way how to pull that soul more towards light so it can incarnate and try again. So basically, we all souls had choice to try again, to incarnate again, regardless if they've been in hell or in heaven. They all can incarnate again. The only difference is the one that are coming from lower levels, from darkness, they have a much harder, challenging lessons, and their life is not much different than the past life that they had. It can actually be much more harder. For that reason, so it's pushing them basically to learn and to evolve. So we've been divided. That's how we've been divided from day one, because we are here to learn and to evolve. And we have two paths to follow, either God's or ego path. So because we are here to bring more light, we are all really supposed to follow the God's path. Now, what's happened when we say doomsday? The doomsday means it's not like that it's end to everybody, but the doomsday means it's end to the souls that are walking on the darkness, on an ego path. When the doomsday comes, it means it's end to the ego. those souls. So 2012, the Maya calendar ends, which means on a spiritual level, it means that those souls that are didn't go through the gates of heaven, that are in the darkness, don't get the chance anymore to incarnate. That's it. Basically, doomsday means the soul is discarded. So for souls that could not keep the light, that are fully in the darkness and that following fully ego path, they are going to be discarded. After 2012, when they die, they don't come back anymore. They don't get chance to incarnate anymore. So 2012 for some people means the doomsday, where they call it doomsday. It means it's end to your soul. So if, regardless what happens to earth, your soul is finished. You don't get chance anymore to incarnate again and to try again. And for that reason, because many souls would get the chance to incarnate again and they would actually do worse things than they did in the past life. We are meant to do always better things, to evolve, to actually not do anymore what we did in the past life, to do better. And unfortunately, some people do worse because they bring a lot of negative emotions, a lot of fear from past life, and they are really guided by fear. They do worse than they did in the past life. And each lifetime they create more and more bad karmic debts, and then they get stuck in a karmic cycle where they actually, and these are specifically souls that specifically work on paying the karmic debts. They understand the law of karma and they try to sort of in a way manipulate it, that actually literally working on making people paying the karmic debts. So this is actually worse than past life. It means the soul is not evolving, it's stuck in a karmic cycle, and they are definitely not going to get a chance anymore to incarnate. The soul is going to be discarded. So that's what the doomsday means. It doesn't mean that all earth gonna finish just because, let's just say, for example, 30% of the souls are not evolving. They're still in the darkness. And if we really look at it, there's a lot of souls. Even if you look around you, you can see that there's a lot of souls that actually don't know how to live without the ego. They just simply don't know. Especially souls which are practicing witchcraft and black magic a lot. They believe so deeply into that, and they did that life after lifetime. And they don't know how to live without that. They would not know how to live a life without doing black magic and witchcraft and love spells. This is what they believe, which is all false. It's all false. It's all coming from ego. It actually has nothing to do with God. God does not involve himself in any of those witchcraft or black magic. God has nothing to do with it. They're working with different entities, but they believe that they're doing by God. Just because God gives them permission to stay there, to do that, to continue being on an ego path, they actually think that God is actually involved in that God is working with them. No, it doesn't. They're working completely with ego. So those souls that keep coming back and still involving themselves with that, engaging into witchcraft and doing black magic, they are definitely not coming back anymore. That is the doomsday. That is end to that. End to the ego, basically. It has to be end to the ego. In order for anybody to move into New Earth, you have to stop doing that. You have to stop following the ego path. You have to shred the ego. That means no black magic, no love spells, no witchcraft. Completely following the spiritual laws. Not creating any bad karmic debts. And connecting truly to the light. And making sure that your light is growing instead of shutting. And that everybody you encounter with, you help them to grow their light as well. So to spread more light to the earth, that's what it means. That you make sure that all your actions and everything you do keeps your light shining bright. It doesn't dim it. And this time, every action you perform with others, you help them to keep their light shining as well. You don't dim their light. What dims the light the most is manipulation, control. A lot of people are very controlled. And when you're controlling somebody, you dim their light. But in the same time, you dim your light because you're walking on an ego path. So giving the freedom to everybody to live the way they want to live, to follow what they really want to do, where they really want to be, who they really want to be with, that allows their soul to shine, to bright. But when anybody is controlled by somebody, when we are controlled by others, our light is dimmed. So every controlling people, even that they think, very often you would say, yes, they done that, but their heart is in the right place. Well, it's not really. The heart is definitely in the right place. Even that you control somebody and tell them what to do, because you believe that that's actually good for them, it doesn't mean that your heart is in the right place. Yes, you wish them well, but that what you told them to do, it's actually dimming their light. Because they wanted this and you're forcing them to do that, you're still dimming their light. It's about giving to everybody freedom to follow their light. Regardless, because if they make the wrong choice, they need that to learn. That's the way they're gonna evolve. Even if we are pulled to somebody it's actually really wrong, you really want to do something, but it's end up really wrong, that it's what's gonna help you to evolve. So you're still following God's plan. But when you do something that you don't want to do, because somebody is forcing you to do that, because it's controlling you and you don't have freedom to do what you really want to do, so you do this just to please somebody else, and that's when your light is dimmed. So you're not following the God's plan, you're following the ego plan. You're stepping on the ego plan. So we are still divided. After 2012, we don't get a chance anymore to incarnate back. The souls that don't have any light don't have chance anymore to come back and to try to regain the light, because it's impossible. Just look at it. Just look what's happening around us. I mean, if even, let's just say 30 years ago was much easier. We didn't have so much distractions and trauma that we have these days. So even 30 years ago, it was much easier for somebody that has been in a darkness, in a dark place, the soul that's been in a hell, let's just call it hell, and then incarnated again. There was more chance of them to actually do differently and to bring more light and to be more nicer people and to make better choices and to not to try to control others, to actually try to do better things and good things. It was more chance because it was different environment. Now coming back in this environment where there's destructions everywhere, where it's darkness everywhere, where there's such a struggle to survive, it's just impossible for soul that comes from darkness to actually regain the light. Impossible. Because they have so much of negative emotions that they didn't heal from past life, so much bad memories from past life. And then coming into in this darkness, well, it's just impossible to bring more light. So the doomsday really means it's end to the souls that cannot step onto light, that cannot shift that energy. Which means they've been incarnating so many times and never done anything different, did not evolve at all. They keep doing the same. And now it's coming to the end after 2012, after the Maya calendar ends, which means God closed the door to those souls, and unfortunately those souls will be discarded. Not everybody's gonna go through just the same, like not everybody passed through the gates of heaven, especially now when we are actually divided on a big scale. We are starting to see that people are actually dividing themselves. They choose not to have friends, not to engage with a family. They choose not to have be surrounded with people that don't feel good to them. You hear so often that people complain about being drained by others, that they can't stand their friend or somebody that is taking their energy, that's draining their energy. We hear a lot about psychic vampires. So this is the time where we are conscious now. The veil is lifted. 2012 was meant to, and it still does, live the while for everybody. Which means that while of illusion that we had, that this is the life that we're meant to live, that we are just here to enjoy, to have money, and to just have relationships, and to think how we can just celebrate and grab everything we want from others and be better than others. That it's not the life that we are meant to live. So that while it's lifting now to see the truth. Everybody's seeing the truth. Everybody can see why we are really here. Everybody's questioning. So the while is lifting of falseness, of illusion. I call that the while of illusion. It's illusion, believing, having these beliefs, ego beliefs are illusion. Especially when we believe that whatever happens to us, it's somebody else's fault. When we blame others for whatever happens to us, when we don't look what we actually attracting, what we're learning, when we're not focusing on what we're learning, when we're blaming others for whatever happens to us, when we believe that love spell will bring you love, that it's all illusion. When you believe that you can control somebody and that you can make good with that it's illusion. So that while from 2012, it's meant to lift. And we are all starting to search for the truth. We understand that doesn't work anymore. So we are now at the stage where we're dividing ourselves. It's not that just we are divided by energy and by God and the ego. We are starting to see clearly the ego path and the God path, and we're dividing ourselves. We're making choice to actually divide ourselves from people that don't feel good anymore, that don't lift us up anymore, that dimming our light. We can see that clearly now because the well is starting to lift. So that's what the doomsday is. A lot of people believe that doomsday is that when all earth it's gonna be diminished. So there's gonna be no humans, no earth. And that it's possible in only one case. If, let's just say, not one human stays on God's path, then that's what would happen. But the truth is, there are so many humans now that are connected to the light. There are so many light workers that work with helping to others to bring more light in, to help them to shine the light, to heal. Basically, it's through healing that our light. When we're shredding the negative emotions, the resentment, the fear, the competition, the judgment, judging others, it's also keeping us stuck in the darkness as well. So a lot of light workers are working now to actually help everybody to heal and connect to the light and keep that light shining. So I believe there's a very, very slight chance of a real doomsday to actually shut down the earth completely, and there won't be any humans. I believe we're really heading towards new earth. Yes, unfortunately, there's a lot of souls that's going to be discarded, but there are so many souls that are already connected to the light and that understand that there is a soul, God's path, and following that path. So I believe we're heading to new earth. There's a lot of people already. This is what we call the fifth dimension. A lot of people are entering in the fifth dimension. There are some that already entered in the fifth dimension. These are the people that don't create any more karmic debts. So as we enter in new earth, and this is the new earth, which means we learn already, we are so involved that we always make the right choices that keep us on the God path. And that is the key. That's what we come here to learn. To always avoid the test and avoid the temptations, so we can stay on the God path and following always God path. Unfortunately, we all struggling, especially these days. We all struggling because ego is so strong and it's trying always to twist you and to pull you on a wrong path, on an ego path. But there's a lot of souls that are already strongly standing on God path. They know already how not to create any bad karmic debts. They learn and they evolve so they can live in that harmony and peace and do good only for themselves and for everybody, where they don't control, where they don't use any illusion like witchcraft and black magic and love spells, because as soon as you do that, you're working with ego and you cannot stay on a God's path. Those two don't go together. You can't say that you're following God's path and you're doing that. That it's not entering in your earth. And when we're saying that not entering in your earth, people that do that not entering in your earth. So we already have so many people that entered in fifth dimension and that living basically in this really dark earth now that it is. There's so much darkness lifted. What's happening now? The earth is releasing all. The darkness is so lifted. We can see it. There's no veil anymore. We can see the darkness so clearly. So it's really hard now in these days to actually live that harmonious and peaceful life. But guess what? There are people that are doing it. If they can do it now, that means they will be able to do it much later. They are example that new earth is coming. Unfortunately, not for everybody, but it is coming for some. Those that can actually stay on a God path and not to get distracted and pulled on an ego path. So this time it's very crucial for everybody to actually really think twice whenever you make a decision, because every tiny little decision that you make can either pull you on a God path or on an ego path. And now it's very clear, you can see it clearly, even that it's so challenging to actually do good things, because there are so many people that do bad things to everybody, and you could be attacked from 100 of people. And it will be very hard to stay on the God path. But you really have to try to always see which choices are keeping you on ego path and which one on God path. Because this is the last lifetime you have to actually fix that. This is the last time we have to fix it, to let go of those ego beliefs, the illusion, and to really just try to do always good to everybody. Just try to forgive, try to bring more light in and keep your light in. This is your last lifetime. You will not have any more. So if you really believe that the doomsday is coming, then obviously your soul is telling you that. You are the one that needs to work hard to actually shift that. And yes, this is your last lifetime. Because as we entering in 2030, majority of people already should be in New Earth. I can tell you 50% from now to 2030, 50% of humans will enter in New Earth. So you that believe that doomsday is coming, it's your soul telling you it's coming for you. So you have changed to shift that still. Remember the law of karma and the law of attraction is the most important here. In order for you to shift that, so you don't go into doomsday, so your soul doesn't get discarded, you have to let go of your ego mind. You have to really take time to stay quiet, to quiet your mind. Meditation is great this time. It's very important, and this is where you see more and more people are meditating. It helps you to let go of the ego and to connect to the light. It helps the light to shine. Even though it's 20 minutes or half an hour, but the best would be 1 hour. 1 hour meditation, because the longer you stay in meditation, the longer you'll be able to stay connected during the day. If you do a quick meditation, 15-20 minutes, that means much quicker you'll be able to get disconnected. Somebody could say one word and you get disconnected straight away. If you stay in a meditation long for 1 hour, you build that very strong connection, and then you are more resilient during the day. You can take when somebody say a bad word and just ignore it and not react to it, and not to affect you as well. So very long meditations are very important to keep you connected, so you don't do bad things, so you don't react badly to somebody that does wrong to you. Because guess what? You will have people that do wrong to you because they are testing you. They are all tests. God allows them to test you. And it really depends how much can you stay really connected to the light in that darkness when somebody is really attacking you and really saying wrong things about you. So meditation is very important. The longer you can do, the better. The longer you can stay in one meditation, the better. And also spending time a lot in the nature. Sitting under the trees and just sitting on the grass and connecting to earth. And the most important, thinking positive. If you are thinking all the time about doomsday and you believe that it's coming, well, guess what? You won't be able to shift your energy into new earth. Because that's what you're creating, that's what you're preparing yourself for. So let go of that. Even that maybe right now you believe that you're heading towards the doomsday, you believe so strongly into that, and you want to change that, well, you have to get rid of that belief. Because that's your ego. Ego wants you to go there. So get rid of that belief. Look more, try to find videos where they talk positive, where they talk about new earth, where they don't talk about the doomsday. You have to connect more towards that. Look more, research more about the new earth, about fifth dimensional people. See how they live, how they did it, and work really on to shifting that. Try not to do wrong things. Try not to engage yourself in a situation and with people that's gonna really push you to do the wrong thing. Try really to stay away from them, and being very much aware of the law of karma, that it's working immediately. You are not in a new earth. So you will, in these days, some karmic debts come immediately because God is pushing you now to learn. You don't have time anymore. You have to learn this. So the tests are repeating constantly, and you constantly have choice to do better. So always try to focus on doing the better and doing the good. And if you're creating more bad karmic debts, remember, you are heading towards the doomsday. Try, have an intention that you will not create any more bad karmic debts, and that you will try always to do good, and focus always on your earth, on fifth dimension. Connect to that energy. And the most important, you have to release your old stuff. You have to heal. If you're carrying negative emotions, you cannot enter into fifth dimension, because in order for you to enter in fifth dimension, you have to raise energy vibration. And the only way to raise energy vibration is to release negative emotions. So that means no emotional pain, no fear, no resentment, no anger can enter there. You have to release all that. You have to heal all that. And there are so many tools these days that you can do it. So meditation is one. And then you have a hands-on healing that a lot of people are doing, a lot of healers are doing these days. So this is the way to raise your energy vibration. So you have to raise your energy vibration. Even if you try just to think about new earth, but you didn't release any of your negative emotions, you're still heading towards the doomsday. Because you can't enter in your earth bringing the negative emotions. Your soul has to be free from all negativity, all negative emotion, in order for you to enter in new earth, to raise your energy vibration to come to fifth dimension. Because that's new earth, it's only people that are in fifth dimension. And fifth dimension tells us that it's a higher energy vibration. So you're coming from third into fifth. So that's a higher energy vibration, which means you must raise your energy vibration. And that is something that you must do to enter in a fifth dimension. And the worst thing that comes with this, and we are here just really realistically here giving you the information that you need, is that between third and fifth dimension, there's this corridor, that it's corridor of darkness that I call, that it's corridor of darkness. So you entering from third into fifth, and you have to pass through this corridor where you gotta shred all your darkness, where every darkness possible will attack you to test you how much you can stay in a light. And we're talking about this that it's the most active are those souls that are already in hell, that are already on the lower levels, that trying to fix their karmic debt so they can come back again. Even though, so what happens with those souls, because they're not involved, they don't have full information, they are not connected to their guardian angel, even though their guardian angels are still there waiting for them, they don't perceive them. They cannot hear them. So what happens? They have limited information. They only know as they come to the guides. They can only see that they created bad karmic debts. They can see who they created to, and that they, in order for them to enter through the to guides of heaven, they have to clean up the karmic debts. So they don't know really how, and they are the most active now. They are trying to interfere with everybody. They want to guide. And this is where the mediumship comes. Unfortunately, a lot of people, a lot of souls are psychically so connected. Everybody wants to open their psychic gifts. Unfortunately, they don't understand what they're really putting themselves into with that. Because soon as their psychic perception is open, your third eye is open, you perceive energies from anywhere. Not just from the light, from darkness as well. And those souls that are really struggling, that really hoping that they can still fix their karmic debts and that they can enter in your earth and incarnate again, they are the most active. So as soon as they see that somebody is open, they will jump in there and try to guide you, because that's how they can pay the karmic debts, by guiding you to do something that they think it's good for you, and that's gonna help them to incarnate again and fix their karmic debts and try to bring more light and to heal. So, and they are definitely gonna attach more to healers, because what they're doing, they see, okay, there's a healer there, they know how to help me to heal, so I'm gonna help them to do something good for them, and then they're gonna help me to incarnate and to heal. That's the way they think. The truth is, nothing is like that. Really, it's nothing, it's like that. But they are active. Soon as you're opening your third eye, they will communicate with you, they will try to guide you, they will try to send you messages. And this is why it's really important to stay in a light. If you're following only and you're walking fully on a God's plan, they won't be able to reach you. If you are in fifth dimension, they can't reach you because your energy is too high. Remember, they're on a lower level. So in order for you to avoid that, you have to raise your energy vibration. You have to release negative emotions. And then they cannot reach you anymore. But they are really creating a lot of distractions at this time, because they are the most active. Even though they can't incarnate anymore, they're still trying to. This time, like the ego does, it knows that the end is coming, that everybody's heading towards New Earth, but it's still trying to bring as many people possible to keep them away from New Earth, to keep them on ego path. So this is something that you have to be aware. If you are working with your psychic perception, check with you where you are. Who are you receiving messages from? See it really clearly. The most important is to connect to your guardian angel. Your guardian angel is the most important. That is the pure higher energy vibration, and it will bring you only information from light, from your soul plan. All your lower angels and your ancestors, your spirit guides, you have only one spirit guide that it's high energy vibration, that it's close to your guardian angels. Everybody else, it's actually much lower energy vibration. So when you're receiving information from them, you have to be very careful. And the worst thing here is that the more you trying to receive messages from one soul, for example, the more they will work for you, with you. So let's just say, for example, you connect to your guardian angels, and soon as you receive one message from them, the souls are sort of connected. You get excited. You say, oh, I love it. I'll do more. And they say, oh, I love serving you. I'll do more. And it's the same with when you're connecting to the soul that it's on a low level. They give you information and you think, oh, that's great. I'm going to follow that. And then they're going, oh, she's following it. Let's bring her more. Let's bring them more. And you're never going to be able to detach from them. So really important to check, where are you with your spiritual growth, with your energy vibration? Do you have any negative emotions? Do you have any blockages? Do you need to release? Who are you connecting to? where your information is coming from. This is the time where you have to ask yourself that. If your third eye is open, if you're doing any spiritual work, this is very important to know this now, right now. Before, maybe it wasn't so much. It was really important. It's just that a lot of people, well, the veil wasn't lifted even for us healers, for light workers. So we weren't aware. Myself, I wasn't aware of that as well. I was doing a lot of mediumship, and it took me after 2012 actually that my veil was so lifted that I was like, had those aha moments where I realized that I need to really check in this and connect to the Akashic records to see really the truth about all this. So that's what you need to do. Connect to the light, check where you are, who you're getting your information from, and if you're getting information from lower energies, try really, the way to stop it is to ignore them. The more you're saying to them, stay away from me, I don't want information from you anymore, the more they're gonna attach to you, the more they're gonna bring you, because they see you as somebody that can save them, and they need that. They need you basically, but you have to save yourself. You have to put yourself first and save yourself, and then just instead of connecting to that anymore, just make a decision that you're gonna connect to the higher energies, and to your higher spirit guide, and to your angels, and receive the message from the light, and work really on releasing your negative emotions, because that's what's keeping you on lower energy. That's what's keeping you away from fifth dimension, from your earth. And don't be disregarding, what's happening around you. Don't disregard what's happening around you, but also don't give too much attention. Yes, there's a lot of cleaning up happening. We can't disregard that. We are conscious of that. We see it, and depends how you look at that. See it as a cleaning up, releasing the negativity, bringing more light. So you see it as this all is bringing more light. It's pushing us into new earth. If you look at it that way, that helps you to stay connected to the light. So yes, there's a lot of cleaning up happening. There's a lot of natural disasters that's happening, because the earth, it's releasing all negativity as well. And the earth has to heal and cleanse itself. So yes, there's gonna be probably so much still happening, and it will. But try to stay connected always to new earth energy. Everything that's happening with you, don't look at it negative, see it as a positive, as this is all pushing us into new earth. Because where you're giving your energy, that's what's gonna come to you. You're giving your energy to doomsday, or you're giving your energy to new earth. So try to keep that in mind. Whenever something bad happens, try to remind yourself that it's okay. It's just a shift in the energy. It's giving you a chance to raise your energy vibration higher, to heal and to raise your energy vibration higher. So we hope that this information can help you. And if you did like this video, please click on like or subscribe. Bye bye for now.